speechless.
Take it.
We have with us, hello, Eddie Watkins, and you are, well, I said, he calls you the bee man, I call you the honey man.
Really?
Yeah, really. Because you are the man that knows all about bees. Correct, Amundo?
Correct, Mundo.
Look,
He's going to drink some honey.
what is it you call that, the ambrosia? Or
Food of the gods, ambrosia.
Okay.
Of course, it is off the Buffalo National River. Need we say more?
Well, you own a business called Buffalo River
Honey
Honey.
Company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Buffalo River Honey Company.
Yeah.
And you've had some different locations. You used to be down on the Buffalo River, but now you're up on the mountain, right?
I have 11 locations.
You
Oh,
okay?
okay.
All right. Set me
I
straight,
run
Eddie.
from Compton to Edwards Junction, which is about 35 miles of the river.
Right.
Okay.
Each bee yard is about 3 miles apart.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's no pressure. You know, when you have 10 acres and 100 head of cows, that's not going to work out real well.
Right.
So
So you have to find strategic locations
it's
where.
all strategic. It's all thought out.
What do you don't want on your lots there? What don't you want there?
Man,
Yeah. Okay. Because he
degrades everything
Okay.
Makes sense.
with a smile on his face.
I would assume that you don't want your and you have a bee. You got bee workers working for you, and these are happy bees.
Okay, here
right?
it goes. Here it
okay,
goes.
here we go.
Tell us-
All right,
Yeah,
in
do-
prime season, which is late June, okay, I have 10 million bees working for me
Yeah.
on those 11 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you pay them an hour?
And they pay me. Yeah, they pay me. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, so here you have 10 million bees, and in that 11 yards of 35 miles is about 100,000 acres. So personally, the bees and I are impacting, vitalizing, revitalizing that environment.
Right.
So in other words, they are in their environmentally evolved environment,
Right.
the wild.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On top of that, it's deciduous. We do hardwoods. We don't do oil trees.
Mm-hmm.
The upper buffalo is deciduous. This is what they
Oh, okay.
evolved from.
So the product is different.
Well, and again, I'm not necessarily here today for the product.
I know, but yeah.
I'm here for the honeybee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're an advocate for the honeybee.
I'm an advocate for us being able to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because if mankind can't eat, then he's not going to be doing much for God. He's not going to be doing much for his fellow man. Any at all.
Now, when you say eat, you're not talking about eating honey.
No,
you're talking
I'm talking about food. Exactly.
How is that impact? How is the bee? How does that impact our food source?
Well, let's go to two things here. I'm a permanent yard beekeeper. Okay, I'm a wildflower beekeeper. When you're in the upper corridor of the Buffalo National River, there are no monocrops. Okay, so I stay right here. The guys that feed you are the migratory beekeepers, the ones that truck their bees all over the country. Okay,
That have it all processed.
in trucking. Okay, it's like me taking you and hiring you out, working you 24 hours a day, moving you every 3 weeks to a completely different environment that you have to familiarize yourself with.
You're talking about me as a bee.
As a bee, and
Yeah.
then I'm going to feed you fast food while you do all that.
Okay, that's not.
So that's going to take your immunity, cram it into the trash can,
Yeah.
and then we wonder why we have bee problems. And
Yeah.
then if you don't have the bee, and let me say this, if we lose bees and they're not here and 4 years pass, we're all still going to be here. Albert Einstein said that if the bees are gone in 4 years, we're gone. That's incorrect. Okay? If the bees die out, we're going to have wheat, corn, and soybean.
Yeah.
So we're all going to be able to eat.
Well, that's not really a good balance of food.
Well, of course not. And if you look at any food product, more than likely, if you read labels, it's going to have corn, wheat, and soybean in it in some derivative form.
Right, right. And those sources don't require a bee to
Exactly.
cross-pollinate or
And
anything.
the migratory thing is unsustainable. So my cheering now is for what the bees do in the upper corridor of the Buffalo National River. It's a preserve. It's something that's not attainable anymore, but yet there's few segments that are still left, and I'm one of them. You take the bee out of the situation, and eventually the food that you eat will kill you, like it does today. Pretty much, if there's no bodies in the streets, but they're in the hospitals.
Sure.
Take a visit. They're at the doctor's office.
Sure, yeah.
You know, the internet is full of prescription sites to get your drugs.
Right.
You know,
right.
so it's what I'm trying to say is that what the bees do and I do is we're trying to preserve something that's not there anymore.
Yeah. Right.
You know, the almond crop this year. You know, all the bees that are migratory, they move to the almond crop in February. So bees all over the country come to one place and do their job. Now you imagine 1 million human beings coming to one place and living and eating and doing their thing, and a few of them are diseased.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what you're having in the bees. They all have to come together for these monocrops. They all become diseased or get diseased, then they go back to where they originated
Spread it
from,
out.
and
Spread.
there you go.
Yeah.
And then everybody looks and says, what's wrong with the bees? And another thing, when man comes into an environment, degradation begins immediately. So what's happened to the bee is habitat loss because of progress. So that's the number one thing in beekeeping. If you don't have habitat, which habitat is food source,
Yeah.
and nutritional food source, you're doomed.
Yeah. Well, and you talked earlier. You're not here to talk about your product.
No,
But you're here to talk
yes.
about your passion. I can feel the passion. You have the knowledge and
We're
the
feeling it.
excellence. Yeah, and that's why you want people to know about this.
Well, it's
presentation.
important.
this right
It's
here.
the most important thing on the planet. And you're going to show this movie here
Yeah.
for us. And this will tell the story right here. Okay, I really don't need to say much more. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for philanthropy. I'm looking for philanthropic action for the honeybee. And through me, if you want to save the bees, then you save the beekeeper.
There's your
sorry.
audience right there.
Hey, audience.
Oh, we want to let people
So
know
when
that
is this going to air?
we're going to air this 3 times, all in prime time on Monday, December 22nd, December 26th at 7 o'clock. These are all p.m. times. And then also on Sunday, December 28th at 5 p.m.
And I highly recommend that, you know.
It's a 90-minute
it's a
documentary, and it kicks off quickly. So it gets your attention very quickly.
It covers it all, man.
And it covers.
It covers it from A to Z.
Yeah, and it's really eye-opening. I watched just 5 or 6 minutes of it, and it's like, oh my gosh.
But what I'm trying to say, and again, for this area right here, everybody knows me. I ride around the little yellow rig, okay, and got my Buffalo River honey on it. But there are no bees left. You know, they're backyard beekeepers, 1 or 2, but there's very few that do it in the wildflower action. They move their bees around. Honey in the grocery store, if I upset you, I'm sorry, but 95% of the honey in the grocery store is not even honey. You can't even source it because all the pollen's been filtered out.
What's funny, you mentioned that, and there was a part in this documentary that we were watching, and they were showing how mass manufacturers of honey, to get the bees excited about eating, they would pour in corn syrup
Seriously?
inside the beehive.
It's in the movie.
Okay.
And that attracts the bees, and they don't know what nutrition. They're attracted by the sweetness of it.
And you know, for me to be here today, what I'm asking mankind is to reach in your pocket and help the beekeeper, not necessarily the bees, because in Mother Nature, in the Himalayas, in southern Patagonia, where there are no men, you will never eradicate the bee. But when you're in a highly populated area and you use pesticides like you do, you know, in any place in town, you can go in and get you a 25-pound sack, a killer.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll have on the sack, you know, it's a federal offense if you misapply. Ain't nobody there to watch.
Yeah.
But anyway, habitat degradation and poison is the end for the pollinator.
Right.
You know, the bee included. But the plants can only, and if you can't take it, the plants can only have sex if they have an insect
To pollinate.
to
crop.
pollinate.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you make the food. Now, corn, wheat, and soybean
Don't need it.
takes
Yeah.
the wind. But then they give off pollen. All those three are highly modified genetically. Bees eat that pollen.
Yeah.
So these are just a few factors of what the downfall of the bee is, which will be covered in this.
Yeah. And the name of the documentary is Queen of the Sun.
Queen of the Sun. And again, this movie is 4 years old, but when you watch this movie and you see it's worse now than it was 4 years ago. Because as long as there's no population control, we'll be riding the boat we in right now.
Okay. Again, we're going to be airing The Queen of the Sun. It's going to be on 26.1 or this TV network Monday, December 22nd at 7 p.m. Also December 26th, that's a Friday, that following Friday at 7, and also that following Sunday at 5 in the afternoon. So check that out. And
Please watch. Please watch.
It's very informative, fun to watch, and you'll walk away. You'll learn a lot. You'll be an expert on the plight of the bees. Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me. Y'all did
All right.
something for your planet today.
Darn
You do something for your planet today. Help me.
They moved over here. Now you can point at them.
Hey, where are you at, man? Just help me. Some philanthropist, help me out.
All right.
Thank you very much, guys.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be meeting Tony with Wanda Massengale from the Ozark Humane Society, and we'll try to get Tony placed. Stay with us.
Yay.